At this time, I'd like to ask all in council chambers to turn off or at least set their phones on vibrate. Today is June 6, 2017, and the public hearing of the Stratford Zoning Board of Appeals will come to order to hear those petitions advertised for this session. For those of you not familiar with our process, each petitioner or their designated representative will present their case to the board, and when they have concluded, board members will then have the opportunity to ask questions they may have. I will then ask if there's anyone who wishes to speak in favor or in opposition of the petition. We ask all petitioners to speak clearly and directly into the microphone, and after all petitions have been heard, we will then recess to our administrative session. Interested parties are welcome to stay. However, only board members and staff will be allowed to speak at that time. Please be advised that clapping or shouting in any way of expressing opinions on applications is not allowed or tolerated. And now we will begin the public portion or the public hearing. Mr. Tavares, would you please read petition number 1?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It'd be my pleasure. First petition, 900 Prospect Drive, petition of Timothy Ford, seeking a variance of allowable coverage from 20% to 22% to construct a two-car garage for a single-family dwelling in an RS3 zone, and the hardship being existing garage converting to bedroom.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Paul Hollab. I'm the architect for this project. We're asking a waiver variance for the building coverage in this zone from 20 to 22.9 or 22%. I was hired to design a two-car garage addition and a master bedroom above with several rear additions. During the design and construction drawing process, Beth Ford, the wife's, her mother decided she needed to move in with them because the home she was in, the son was moving back and she didn't have any room. So we converted the proposed garage, two-car garage, into a bedroom, closet, and handicapped bathroom for her. Then we proceeded to design a two-car garage on the other side, and we found out that we were over the coverage by 2%, 2.9, according to the survey. We're asking a waiver because the mother, she's 79 years old, she does drive. Beth is a teacher in town, and we wanted to have a garage that they could pull into during the winter and park. The garage is 22 by 23. Within that space is an existing chimney, which is 2.3 feet, and stairs going up into the house, which is about 3.5 feet. That leaves us roughly 19 plus feet, which is comparable to a two-car garage. If we were back at 20%, that garage would be 11 feet, taking into account where we wanted to locate the bedroom for Barbara, which is close to the kitchen for her convenience. The garage, by the time we finished building an 11-foot garage, we'd have about 7.5 feet clear from the stairs going into the house and the wall. We wouldn't even be able to have an 8-foot garage door, which is typical because there are certain construction things that I have to do to build the proper garage in town. Again, we're asking for this waiver so that both Beth and Barbara can park in the garage, especially during the winter. I did receive the letter specifying that if approval was, we would do a impervious or permeable pavement or shells, stones, which the owner is more than happy to do since it's down near the water. Thank you.
Okay, do you have your certified
I'm-
receipts to submit for the notification? You can pass it along if you'd like.
Sorry.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for the petitioner? Ms. Young?
Good evening, Mary Young. You mentioned you had received the letter. Are you referring to J. Hibansky's staff report dated May 11th, 2017?
Yes.
So in that letter, which we also got a copy of, Mr. Hibansky is, in my opinion, educating the members and anyone else reading this letter about what jurisdictional requirements we have acting in our capacity as Zoning Board of Appeals members, that hardship, which is the argument you need to make to us, is not tied to the wonderful people who live at 900 Prospect, but is tied to the land. And he references some concern about other alternatives that you as the project architect might have explored to find where 200 square feet might be captured elsewhere so as not to necessitate a variance. And I'm wondering if you can speak to those points in that letter.
Well, we did look at that. Here again, we wanted a two-car garage for use in the wintertime more than anything. If we went back to 20%, the add-on from what we had permitted, because we received the permit for the rest of it, excluding that two-car garage. If we went back to the 20%, that would be an 11-foot garage, whether it was on one side or the other. If I said, okay, let's add to one and take away from the other to allow us that, we would still not get a two-car garage, which is 22 feet standard. The room for Barbara to live in and to live besides sleeping would be about a 12-foot room, 12 by 10, with a handicap bathroom. Tim and Beth Ford want to allow Barbara to have an adequate area to live, basically. Here again, she was moving out because one of the sons, it's another brother that she lived with in Stratford, but the son was coming back to live in the house, and basically there was no room for her.
Thank you. I guess I was looking, again, for something related to the property, not the people who reside in the
Well,
property.
again, that's why we're asking for a variance, to allow us to put in an adequate room. I know the property is 10,000 square feet, which is what the required property is required for that zone. That's why we're asking for a waiver, basically to accommodate a new member of the family.
And the 2.9% increase, what does that equate to in floor area? Is that about approximately
It's about 200 and, well, that's about 290 square feet.
And if I heard you correctly, as the project architect who knows how to work numbers and can design plans, you did a beautiful plan, you could not find 200 square feet somewhere else after working with your client?
When you say find 200 square feet, it's building coverage. We've added, well, a two-car garage, which was converted to a bedroom. Again, it would come down to a smaller room for her and a one-car garage.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Hoydick?
Yeah, I just have a couple of questions. In regards to the driveway, the existing driveway is going to be removed?
Yes,
and you're going to install the driveway to the
that's correct.
proposed garage.
Yep.
You're going to go for a curb cut, I would assume.
What would happen is if we do get approval for that garage addition, the surveyor, Richard Plain, would remove the existing and show a new driveway with permeable pavers, stone, shell, and a curb cut, which we'd have to get a permit for.
Okay. I just have a question for Jay. On the sideline, existing sideline, the waiver for the sideline, the 8.5 feet, is that within the existing setback?
It is. When the garage is attached, you're allowed to encroach 50% into the side setback.
So you
So
add
the
to...
side setback for a detached garage would be 3 feet.
Okay.
But when it's attached to the principal structure, it can encroach 50% into the whatever the side setback is. In this instance, the setback is 10, so
10.
it could go up to 5 feet.
Okay.
So it's in compliance.
Great. Thank you.
That was something I definitely checked with zoning.
Yep.
So
I
we
thought
could-
so, but...
Yes, Ms. Young?
Mr. Urbanski, tell me if this question is better directed at you. The shed in the corner of the property is, I'm guessing, in the neighborhood of 88 square feet, something to that effect. Does that count towards this lot coverage variance that we're discussing? Like if that was to be removed, would then the variance be 100-plus square foot request, or?
No, I believe that's included, and we can double check with the
It
applicant.
is excuse me, it is included.
My question, though, is if the applicant were to offer, I will remove the shed, that then would take away from some of the lot coverage variance he's seeking, making this a more de minimis request, if this shed counts against the same coverage that we're discussing this evening, building coverage.
Still would require a lot coverage variance because it would be approximately 88 square
It's
feet.
98.
So
Well, if we're
98
struggling
square
to
feet.
find 200, I think I just found 98, so I would pose the question back to the project architect. Would you be, or maybe want to consult with your client, willing to concede the shed so that we can bring your site more nearly into compliance, since to your point, it is a conforming lot. You don't have a non-conforming lot from the start.
Onus is gone.
And if this application were approved, can I assume that you would receive in your office, Mr. Urbanski, a revised plan showing shed to be removed and the numbers recalculated to demonstrate what the variance would look like at the end of the day?
sure, if the board decided that they wanted to approve it, they would stipulate with the condition that as we said before, the driveway be permeable, if that's what you so choose, and that the garage or the shed be removed, and a new site plan be submitted to show the recalculation of building coverage.
And again, would that then reduce the non-conforming setbacks of that shed? 'Cause that's looking very close to the property line, perhaps encroaching into the rear and side setbacks?
It is. It's a
Okay.
non-conforming structure.
That would make me feel better, but I'm just one member. Thank you.
Do any other commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, I'd like to ask the audience if anyone is here and would like to speak in favor of this petition. Please state your name and address into the microphone.
My name is Tim Ford, 900 Prospect Drive, Stratford. Thank you, first of all, for your consideration. When Beth and I originally planned this, we had not expected her mother to be moving in with us, but we are actually happy that she is moving with us and is part of the family. As Paul stated, she is 79. She's very active. She's lived in Stratford almost her entire life. She's been active through Chase Bank. She's active through Lordship Church. And we just don't want to have her just as a room. She's actually part of the family, part of the house. My wife is one of 6, so we do have a number of people coming to visit. I'm one of 7. So having people come to the visit, having Barbara, allowed Barbara to have her own room, that's why we purposely made it bigger. But then the fact that we were asking for the two-car garages, I travel for a living. Beth is a teacher, getting up in the morning in the snow and the ice and having to scrape a car. Barbara's 79. I hope she never has to scrape her car or deal with snow out in the driveway. So that's why we're asking for this, the waiver and the variance. Thank you for your consideration. Does anyone have any questions for me?
No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak in favor of this petition at this time? Seeing none, is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition of this petition? Okay, seeing none, may I ask for a motion to close? By Mr. Hoydick, seconded by Ms. Young. Okay, onward we march. Mr. Hoydick, would you please read the second item on the agenda?
Yes, I will, Chairman. Application number 2, 45 Bear Paw Road, petition of G. Ronald Kovalich, seeking a variance of setbacks and allowable percentage of floor space to establish an accessory apartment in an RS-3 zone. The hardship is a non-conforming house location.
Would the petitioner please present their
Good evening.
petition? Name and address for the record, please.
George Ronald Kavulich, 45 Bear Paw Road, Stratford, Connecticut. Sorry?
Oh, do you have your mailings?
There's two sets there because they changed, I had to send them out again.
Okay.
There's two different sets there.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, the reason I'm here tonight, as I wrote on my letter, is the front of my house. There's an encroachment, according to the surveyor. And that was, from what I understand, a pre-existing condition when the house was subdivided. It was called Huntington Manor. And there's a foot or foot and a half difference. It's closest to the road. So that is one of the reasons I'm here for the variance. The other reason is for the apartment, accessory apartment that I would like to put on. And the reason I wrote a little letter, maybe you read it. I don't know if you want me to go through it again or not, but that's what I want to do for the accessory apartment. And I know I think I was allowed only 730 square feet to be in compliance in that range. And I said, well, if I'm going for a variance for the encroachment on the front of my house, NEMI asked for 800 square feet. And that, I know it doesn't seem like much, the 800 square feet from the 730, but it means a lot for my daughter and my son-in-law, a little extra space. Because they're giving up their home to come and take care of me and my wife. So that's what I would say.
Okay, would you like to add anything to?
No.
Okay. Give us just one moment to review this. Does any commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Ms. Young?
Sir, can you tell me again, what is the additional floor area you are seeking beyond what is allowed?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What is the additional floor area you are seeking from this board beyond what you are allowed?
I think it's 70 square feet.
Thank you.
I just want to clarify that in order to establish an accessory apartment, it can't be any smaller than 400 square feet and can't be any larger than 800 square feet. So the request for the square footage of the apartment is actually in compliance. It's the one of the conditions in order to have an accessory apartment is that it can't exceed, the size of the accessory apartment can't exceed 25% of the total livable floor space. As proposed, it's actually 25%, so it's 2% more than the allowable livable floor space, but he's in compliance with what he's actually asking for. So essentially, if he put on a 200 square foot addition and asked for an 800 square foot accessory apartment, he would be in compliance. It's just due to the size of the house itself.
That's helpful, thank you. As long as we have you talking, can you clarify something else you said in your May 11th comments? If I read this correctly, the lot width is non-conforming, which might be, to your memo, something unique about this property, just making it eligible for consideration of setback relief?
Correct. It's a non-conforming lot. Also, let's see, one of the conditions, which is 141614C1, basically says, in order to apply for an accessory apartment, the property must contain the minimum lot area for the district, and it doesn't. So that's a variance that they're seeking, but because the fact that it's an undersized lot, in my opinion, I feel that there's a legal hardship present.
And last question for you. Maybe we'll hear from the audience, but did the file receive any correspondence from any of the budding property owners who might have gotten notice?
Not to my knowledge.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Okay, seeing none, I will now ask our very large audience if anyone would like to speak in favor of this application.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here and allowing us to speak.
Sorry, your name and address.
My name is Jim Durant. Jim Durant.
Hi, Jim.
I live in West Haven with my wife, Janine,
Okay.
and we love Dad so much. He's done so much for us, but you know, because of what's happened with Dad, who was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and Ma's early stages of Alzheimer's. We've been doing a lot of stuff, and we've been going over their house. My office is in West Hartford. I'm slowly transitioning to Milford. That's where I'm at now, but eventually I'm going to want to be in Stratford to be close. But the bottom line is we travel a lot for work, and then we go over there. Janine's always cooking for them and bringing them stuff, and we actually live right on the beach right off of Ocean Avenue in West Haven, and we love it there, but we love Mom and Dad way more. So that's the reason we wanted to go there, so we could be there for them, and to cut the lawn so we're not driving every which way because either way we would make it work, but that's the reason that we want to do it, and the two of the best people, so that's the reason, and I thank you for listening to me. I'm sorry, I'm not used to speaking in front of everyone, but thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak in favor of this petition? Seeing none, would anybody like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close? By Ms. Young, seconded by Mr. Grega. Okay, so that concludes our public hearing, and we will now go right into our administrative session. Would anyone like to take petition number 900 Prospect Drive on the table? Off the table.
Motion to take number 900 Prospect Drive off the table.
Off by Ms. Young, seconded by Mr. Tavares. Any discussion or motions?
Motion? I'd like to make a motion to approve with the following conditions added. Pervious driveway to reduce the impervious surface and improve drainage. removal of the shed as offered by the applicant to reduce the on-site coverage. Revised site plan to be submitted to the Planning and Zoning Office prior to issuance of any zoning or building permits to demonstrate what the, I can recite this again slowly, to demonstrate what the reduced coverage will be. It's not going to be 2.9% increase, but something less than that. The hardship being, I think, best articulated by the property owner himself, a public safety issue, to have a two-car garage combined with reduction in nonconformities, as we will be seeing relief on the side and rear yard setbacks because of the shed being removed.
Okay, Ms. Young, thank you for your motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Tavares. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously, 5-0. Okay, the second petition, number 2. Would someone like to make a motion to take it off the table?
I will make a motion to remove 45 Bear Paw Road off the table.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, so motion by Mr. Hoydick, seconded by Ms. Young. Any discussion or motions? Mr. Hoydick?
I would like to make a motion to approve the application with the stipulation that, actually, not stipulation, but to include an approval of the setback from the 25 to the 23-foot variance that's requested for the front, and for the 27% livable floor area, as opposed to the 25 that it's regulated. I really don't have any other stipulations other than that, and I'll state the hardship that it was a non-conforming lot, and that it falls within the lines of a hardship.
Okay, thank you for your motion.
Can I make a friendly amendment for consideration by Mr. Hoydick?
Sure.
You may, Ms. Young.
So your hardship argument speaks to the setback, and I thought maybe we could add to your hardship argument to support the floor area relief that they're seeking, as they are in excess of 25% of the total living area. I think that's an existing condition, so I think that is the hardship for why the proposal is what it is. I think it's a unique set of regulations that demands he do a 200-square-foot addition to support, without a variance, his proposal. And I would prefer, for his sake, he wouldn't have to do that addition, so I would like to support your variance.
I would
think
gladly,
it's
yeah.
the existing condition that generates the need and supports that aspect of the variance.
Sure. I have no problem with that.
And with that, I second his motion.
Okay, your second by Ms. Young. Any discussion before a vote? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay. Oh, excuse me, none. Carried unanimously, 5-0. Okay. We have a few other orders of business. I'd like to, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes of May 2nd, 2017? So moved by Ms. Young.
Second.
Second by Mr. Tavares. Any discussion or corrections? All in favor of approving the minutes by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Carried unanimously, 5-0. We have no CAM site plan reviews, correct? No. And in our package of information, apparently we got an appeal. I guess there's nothing to discuss. The town attorney will be handling this?
No, there is no town attorney here, but I'm sorry.
No,
I was
I'm sorry,
reading.
you were reading. Okay, I'm just speaking that we received an appeal on the Alvarez versus Board of Zoning Appeals.
And I included this in the packet just as information because this was a recent item that was voted upon. It doesn't need to be discussed, but I thought that you should be kept abreast of all the decisions you're making and what ramifications are coming after they leave the room with us.
Great. Thank you. Does any of the commissioners have any other items to discuss? Ms. Young?
Are we on members' concerns, or not there yet?
Oh, yes, members' concerns, that's where we are.
So, in support of Jay's last statement of keeping us informed, I personally would feel better informed if our minutes had the resolutions attached to them so we can keep track of our decisions as we go forward. I don't want to clutter everyone's mailbox if they all don't want it, but I know I personally would benefit from having copies of our decisions attached to the minutes when we get them the following month. And I'm wondering if I can make that request, at least for me and others if they want it.
Do you mean the letters of approval that we
Yes.
send out?
Correct.
That was easy.
Again, it may not be something everyone wants, but I would like to get it.
Absolutely. I think it's a good idea.
Once you get like the second day or the third day, that's my ones that I send out, and then Jay sends them out before we have the meeting, so, which,
I don't know that I need your minutes as quickly as you generate them, but you're very good at what you do.
So what we would do is we would just send them out when we send our commissioner packet out a week or two before the meeting.
Whatever works for you in-house.
About a 3-week delay from your vote.
Okay. That's an excellent suggestion.
Thank you.
Any other member
job.
concerns or comments?
Great job tonight.
Motion to adjourn. May I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Grega, may I have a second? Second. Mr. Tavares, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Member adjourned.
Nice job.
Good job.